One of the main things you're going to see through the course of the demonstration today is how easy it is to access information through the Acumatica ERP system and also share information between multiple departments and quickly get to that information as well when it's important to get to it. Now, a few just kind of overview items with Acumatica. It's a role-based system with unlimited users. So through the course of the demo today, we're going to be focused mainly on a customer service rep and their interaction with a customer calling in and needing information about a particular sales order. But as we kind of go through these trying times and working remotely, and folks in different functional areas needing to have that ability to really see data, the infrastructure really makes a big difference as well. So you'll notice right away that the Acumatica system is running in Google Chrome here. So it's going to be able to be accessed through any sort of web browser, anytime, any place, and anywhere, which is unique for a lot of business systems today. You'll also notice that it's designed to show that information in a lot of different visual ways. And the first thing we're looking at here is going to be a sales type, customer type related dashboard. And we have things like the ability to see our sales order information month over month with drill down capability, as well as things like what our accounts receivable are in total, and then how many late orders are out there that need to be shipped. And the key as we go through some of the different functions is going to be that ability not just to see that data, but to actually take action on that data and do something very specific with it. So in this customer service role, we've got a customer that calls up and says, hey, I recently placed an order and I've got some questions about it and need to make some changes to that order. So we're on the phone with them, and the first thing we can do is quickly look up that customer, in this case, Alta Ace. And you'll notice the dashboard is going to reflect to show information pertinent to that customer. So now we can see their sales order trends month over month. Things like recent activities, so different interactions that we've had with that customer are going to be right there. And then in this case, they've got a question about an order, so we can actually drill down into these orders to ship. So if this is a very long list of orders, we'd be able to filter this down and quickly find that sales order that they're looking for. Because they may have a number to reference, or they may just say, hey, it was that food order that we placed. We're going to do a lunch and learn next week and ordered a whole bunch of food from you guys, and that's the one we need to make some changes on. So I could come in and say, okay, well, let's look up that food order and see what we can find here. Oh, this looks like the one. So let's come over here and preview that and just validate that that's the correct order before we drill all the way down into that. So we can say, okay, it was placed on 12/8, requested for 12/15. Yeah, this looks like the appropriate order. So again, quickly accessing information in just a few clicks and kind of having everything right there at our fingertips. So we drill down into that particular sales order and say, hey, what questions did you have about it? What changes did you need to make to that order? So they say, well, we need to make sure that the hot dog buns that we ordered don't have wheat in them. So we can say, okay, well, here's our hot dog buns. So let's go ahead and just open up, again, right from the sales order here, the drill down into that particular product. So that's going to be where we have all the information about that particular item that we're selling, even things that are maybe unique to our business. So we can come over and say, okay, well, here's the allergens that are associated with this particular hot dog bun in this case, and say, okay, well, it does have gluten, but it is wheat-free, so we're good to go. And based on different industries and things like that, there's great opportunity within the Acumatica system to capture all of that information in a single place of truth things that a lot of times you're going to be keeping in Excel sheets or Google Docs or all these different things in different places. You can surface that information. So in this case, it's easy for the customer service rep to see that very quickly. So now that they know that the hot dog buns are good and that we don't need to swap those out with something else, it's okay. Well, we also would like to increase the quantity of the potato chips that we're ordering, but do you have enough to fulfill that order? So we can say, okay, well, let's take a look at the potato chips. And then you'll notice right down here on the bottom of the sales order that it's going to show us what we have, not just on hand, but what's also available. So it looks like we've got quite a few because we've got 6,800 here. So that should be more than enough to fill that order for them. So we get to talking to them and they say, well, you know, that's good, but can you sell that to us in a pallet? We're going to need a lot of potato chips. So we can say, okay, well, let's just come in and we'll switch this from an each, and we'll actually go ahead and sell this to them on a pallet. So then the system is going to be smart enough to go out, do the mathematical calculation to tell me how many pallets I have on hand. So you can see we have 188 pallets available of this particular product. And they say, well, we actually need 2 pallets. So we can just go ahead and update that appropriately. And that's going to be reflected again all throughout the application. So as we're talking through that, say, well, okay, this pallet may change what your shipping is going to be. So let's just real quickly go out and take a look at that and see if it's going to cost you anything extra to ship this now. So we can come over to our shipping settings, and you'll see here I've got the ability to go out and shop for rates. So another great benefit of having a real-time connected system, again with all the data centralized in one place, is you're going to have the flexibility to go out and interact with outside entities as well. In this case, we're actually going to go out and talk to like UPS, FedEx, Postal Service, any sort of carrier that you may use. And in real time, it's going to return the rates that are available for us based on the packaging and any sort of negotiated rate that we might have with those carriers. So we can see what the cost is to go UPS ground now. If we need to second day it, that gets pretty expensive. And they say, well, hey, you know, we can save you $10 if we go FedEx ground. So we'll switch from UPS to FedEx ground. And now that's going to update the shipping on this particular order all in real time there. So that's going to be communicated over to the shipping department. So now that we made these changes, maybe the customer says, hey, we'd like to revise that PO and send that back over to you. So they send the PO back over. And again, from a data management standpoint and kind of keeping everything in front of us, we want to have that ability to link that purchase order that they send up to this particular transaction. So they send that in for us. And I'm actually going to just grab that PO from a folder and drag and drop the PDF that they send over onto my sales order. So that's going to actually load that into the Acumatica system and make that available for me on this particular order. So I can come up here to the top under Files, and we're going to see both the original purchase order and we're going to see the revised purchase order that they sent over. So if someone from another department needs to see this, accounting for example, maybe someone in shipping would like to take a look at the purchase order, you're going to be able to just pull that up straight from the sales order, click on that PDF, and right there is that purchase order that they sent over to us so we can validate that we got everything right. And from a filing cabinet, so to speak, standpoint, we've got all of that in one centralized place. Now we'll go ahead and drill back into the order here one more time, and just to kind of round out everything we're taking a look at on this order, we may want to go ahead and actually send a new updated order acknowledgement over to them. So I'll come up under Actions, and let's go ahead and email this. And this is going to automatically send a PDF copy of this sales order out to the contact on the order for review. So without doing anything special, that's also linking that up to the sales order. So again, anyone else can come in and have visibility into all of this data. So I can come up under Activities here, and this is going to show me both of the previous order acknowledgments that were sent out. So I can actually come in and drill down into those, see the email that went out to the client, and also come in and, just like we did on their PO, I can see a copy of our sales order acknowledgement that went out as well. So we'll go ahead and back out of that. And while we're on the activity screen here, this is another area that allows us to kind of capture interactions as opposed to just transactions that happen within a system. So as we're talking to the customer, they say, yeah, you know, if this lunch and learn goes well, we're going to start doing these every month. So we'll potentially need to place another order like this again next month. So that kind of sparks something, and we say, hey, well, we'll make sure to have your salesperson reach out to you and follow up and just see how things went. And if you need to place another order, we'll be happy to help you with that. So we can actually add a task then under the activities here to say, hey, we want to follow up. And we would want to do that, you know, in a month from now. So let's say like January 8th, this is when we're going to actually perform that follow-up. And we might want to put some notes in there as well, just so we remember why we're following up on this. And we can assign that to a particular person and close that. So that actual follow-up is now tied to this particular sales order and also tied to that customer, and is creating an event for the salesperson to follow up on. So regardless of if we're all working in separate buildings, separate countries, separate places, we're still able to communicate effectively around the transactions that are happening within the system there. So now that we've updated everything, we've validated all the information, we've checked all these different things, now it would be time to actually kind of go over to shipping. So the last thing I just want to take a quick look at is if we come up here under business events, within the Acumatica application, there's the ability to send out notifications based on certain things happening within the system. So for example, we have a quantity change here. So that would notify someone in the shipping department that, hey, an existing order has had a quantity updated on it. So you may need to go out and get different packaging. In this case, we are going to pull a pallet as opposed to boxes. And just a way to interact between departments and people and keep that data interconnected and working for you through all the different areas of the system. So we've finished that order, so we can close that guy up. And finally, bringing this full circle, now that we've made all those changes, because all our data is in one spot and not spread out between different silos, and the data is presented in a way that makes sense and is consumable for different folks in different departments that serve different roles, we'll actually come over and take a look at another dashboard, this time the warehouse manager. So any changes that the salesperson would make are going to be propagated all the way through in real time. So now in the warehouse manager, if they drill down into the orders to ship, they're going to see that same updated information. So if they were to come in and take a look at this food order right here, the ship via is updated to FedEx based on everything that we had just changed. They can even select that, preview that just like we did before, and see what's changed in that order to go along with any sort of notification that they may have got along with that, or drill down into that order and see, hey, this particular item, the chips in this case, have been updated to a pallet as opposed to each's, and can plan and prep for that. So that's just a piece of the overall pie, but really when you're talking about accessing your data in your way, what that really means is breaking down and eliminating all these different silos of data and information that are in different places. Sometimes it's paper documents in a filing cabinet even floating around, or it might be, Excel sheets, Word documents. The list goes on. So the key is getting all that information and having a system that has the flexibility to support the different types of information that are pertinent to you and your business, and easily accessing and working with that information.